Donald Trump has put himself up for election, in his own words, to stand up to the corrupt establishment and to obliterate the deep state as the next president of the United States of America. With his renewed candidacy, he promises to drain the swamp in Washington and to end the war between Russia and Ukraine within a few hours.
Under my administration, we're fighting against the lobbyists, the special interests, and the corrupt Washington politics. We are going to Washington, D.C., and we are going to drain the swamp. We are going to Washington, D.C., and we are going to drain the swamp. Here's my plan to dismantle the deep state and reclaim our democracy from Washington corruption once and for all. It is time to drain the swamp, obliterate the deep state. Either the deep state destroys America or we destroy the deep state. And on November 5th, 2024, we're going to stand up to the corrupt political establishment, the corrupt establishment in Washington. My personality is what kept us out of war. After we win the presidency, I will have the horrible war between Russia and Ukraine settled. I will end that war in one day. It'll take 24 hours. I will prevent, and very easily, World War III. So I will have the disastrous war between Russia and Ukraine settled. And it will take me no longer than one day.
Is Donald Trump the peacemaker the world has been waiting for? The fearless savior who will release the United States of America from the deep state? What is the so-called deep state in the USA? And who is Donald Trump?
U.S. Special, the Trump File, Savior or part of the deep state? A production by KLA-TV Investigative and KLA-TV International.
The U.S. presidential election is stirring up emotions. November 5th, 2024 will be Election Day. The showdown is Republicans versus Democrats, Donald Trump versus Kamala Harris. Not only this duel, but also Donald Trump's personality divides the population far beyond the country's borders. Some vehemently reject him, others see him as a long-awaited savior. While Kamala Harris promises to protect the freedom of the U.S. citizens, Donald Trump presents himself as the savior of the nation. Millions of people all over the world, meanwhile, put their hope and their faith in his person. But is this trust justified? In order to get a more clear understanding about this, it's imperative to understand what the deep state actually is and which people are part of it. In other words, who really governs the USA? Answering this question only is possible with the knowledge about who has been part of the political establishment since the foundation of the United States.
What is the deep state and who is part of it?
The term deep state is a political catchphrase that stands for illegal power structures within a state, a hidden force implementing its goals without judicial control. The term deep state is often used in connection with secret societies, invisible masterminds, or a shadow government that operates in secret in the background without people's knowledge, and therefore without control. Now the question is, does such a shadow government even exist in the USA?
Is there a deep state in the USA? First, the founding fathers of the USA.
Well-known German historian Dr. Michael Hesemann revealed in his piece titled The War of the Freemasons Against Throne and Altar, published in 2024, that it was the secret societies who founded the United States of America. The foundation of the USA was preceded by the American Revolution, and key figures in this revolt were the Freemasons Samuel Adams and John Hancock, as well as Paul Revere, who was the Grand Master of the Grand Lodge of Massachusetts. On July 4th, 1776, delegates of the 13 colonies finally declared the United States independence and thereby founded the USA. The Freemasons' Grand Master, Benjamin Franklin, was a member of the committee which wrote the Declaration of Independence of the newly founded United States of America. The committee assigned Freemason Thomas Jefferson to author the first draft. 53 out of the 56 signatories of the Declaration of Independence were proven to be Freemasons. When the Constitution of the United States was finally adopted in 1787, 19 out of the 39 signatories were Freemasons. The first president of the United States, George Washington, was also a Freemason. In fact, he was master of the Alexandria Lodge during his presidency and swore his oath on the Freemasons' Bible of the St. John's Lodge of New York at his inauguration.
Second, symbolism in urban planning.
In 1791, Freemason Pierre-Charles L'Enfant was assigned to plan the new capital, Washington. His draft for urban planning was characterized by the Masonic symbolism and was meticulously implemented during the next decades. The framing square, the compass, the all-seeing eye, the pentagram, a five-pointed star with the tip pointing down, commonly used in Satanism, are visible to the trained eye. It could hardly be more clearly cemented for all times and generations to come whose spirit reigns in Washington and who forms the deep state that truly rules the USA behind the presidency facade than this city plan. On September 18, 1793, the foundation stone of the Capitol in Washington, which is the seat of U.S. Congress, was laid in a Masonic ritual. George Washington was wearing his Mason's apron. Later U.S. President and Freemason Thomas Jefferson labeled the Capitol as, quote, the first temple consecrated to the sovereignty of the people, end quote. The construction of the Washington Monument in the immediate vicinity of the White House began in 1848. The foundation stone of this monumental obelisk was donated by a Masonic lodge. The obelisk is an important symbol in Freemasonry. The Washington Monument Lodge is located at the foot of the Washington Monument. The dollar bill also clearly states who is part of the deep state in the USA.
On the reverse of the $1 note, it is the Eye of Providence above an incomplete brick pyramid. In fact, the so-called Eye of Providence, as well as the pyramid, are still a central symbolism in Masonic lodges today. Incidentally, the pyramid was added to the $1 note in 1935 under President Franklin D. Roosevelt. Roosevelt was a very active member of the Freemasons and received numerous Masonic delegations at the White House during his presidential years. The Roman numeral at the bottom step of the unfinished pyramid on the $1 note stands for the year 1776. However, it does not honor the year of the U.S. Declaration of Independence, but the founding of the Masonic Illuminati Order by Adam Weishaupt in Ingolstadt in 1776. The symbol of the secret society is the Owl of Minerva, and interestingly, a tiny white owl peeks out from behind the number 1 in the right-hand corner of the front of the $1 bill.
In the USA, Masonic secret societies spread more rapidly than anywhere else. In the first quarter of a century after the death of George Washington, the number of members increased from 25,000 up to 80,000, which at the time was 10% of adult white men. 100 years later, in 1930, there were already 16,515 lodges in the United States. At that time, the George Washington Masonic National Memorial was completed in Virginia. It is a monumental Masonic temple and a highly visible landmark of American Freemasonry. Today, there are approximately 2 million U.S. citizens who are members of Masonic secret societies.
Third, the Office of the President of the United States.
The Zeitschrift für Politik is an academic journal of the Munich School of Politics. In 1943, it published excerpts from a paper titled Die Nordamerikanische Freimaurerei, English, North American Freemasonry, which was actually only intended for Freemasons. It clearly shows that from the appointment of the first U.S. President, George Washington, in 1789, until 1933, almost every U.S. president was a member of a secret society. Besides George Washington, these included Thomas Jefferson, Andrew Jackson, Abraham Lincoln, Theodore Roosevelt, William Howard Taft, and Woodrow Wilson. Their political administrations were also permeated with Freemasons. During this period, only 2 of the 31 US presidents were not Freemasons, but they enjoyed the support of the secret societies too. As KLA-TV revealed in the highly acclaimed documentary, The Assassination of John F. Kennedy, Masterminds Revealed, the subsequent US presidents up until 2017 were also all Freemasons, with only 3 exceptions, including John F. Kennedy. These included Franklin D. Roosevelt, Richard Nixon, Gerald Ford, George Bush Sr., Bill Clinton, George W. Bush, and Barack Obama.
Fourth, is there a shadow government behind the US president?
In 1921, the Masonic secret societies installed a strategic control center and called it the Council on Foreign Relations, CFR for short. Declared to the outside world as a think tank, it was henceforth designed to act as a shadow government in the USA. The society was founded in New York by the high-degree Freemason Edward Mandell House, in collaboration with the Freemasons Paul Warburg and Otto Hermann Kahn. Other key founders included the high-degree Freemasons John D. Rockefeller Jr., Alfred Milner, and Lionel Curtis. The writer Walter Lippmann, John D. Rockefeller Jr.'s ally, also played a key role in its establishment. The first president of the CFR, John W. Davis, worked for the Rockefeller family and was also a Freemason. The money for the founding of the CFR came from Masonic high finance, from the Freemasons J.P. Morgan, John D. Rockefeller, Bernard Baruch, Paul Warburg, and Jacob Schiff. When the CFR moved into the Harold Pratt House in New York in 1945, which are also the current headquarters, Rockefeller donated the money for its maintenance. Since its foundation, the CFR has been largely financed by the Masonic Rockefeller family. The CFR's best-known global strategists and board members include the high-degree Freemasons Henry Kissinger, David Rockefeller, Zbigniew Brzezinski, Alan W. Dulles, John J. McCloy, Larry Fink, and the global strategist George Soros. The CFR currently has 5,300 members. Since 2017, high-degree Freemason David M. Rubenstein has chaired the CFR. When the Masonic obelisk, the famous Washington Monument, was restored in 2011, Rubenstein contributed half of the funds necessary to repair the monument. Before the obelisk was reopened in 2014, David M. Rubenstein symbolically placed the final stone, the pyramid, at the top of the obelisk. This piece represents the all-seeing eye of Lucifer, as can be seen on the US dollar bill at the top of the pyramid. The power and influence of the CFR are illustrated nowhere better than in the US government. John J. McCloy, the former chairman of the CFR and a high-degree Freemason, once put it this way: "Whenever we needed a man in Washington, we simply leafed through the council's membership list and made a phone call to New York." A study by William Minter and Lawrence Shoup shows that between 1945 and 1972, more than half of a total of 502 members of government belonged to the CFR. Numerous US presidents were also members of the CFR, including US Presidents Dwight D. Eisenhower, Richard Nixon, Gerald Ford, Jimmy Carter, Bill Clinton, and George H.W. Bush. Since the CFR was founded in 1921, all US presidents have been under its influence. It still makes no difference to the CFR whether they are Democrats or Republicans. Since its foundation, the CFR has also acted as an advisor to numerous US presidents. Here are just a few examples of how CFR strategists have influenced US presidents. CFR strategist Henry Kissinger with Jimmy Carter, George Walker Bush, and Barack Obama. CFR strategist David Rockefeller with George Walker Bush and Ronald Reagan. CFR strategist Zbigniew Brzezinski as security advisor to Jimmy Carter and as advisor to Lyndon B. Johnson. CFR strategist Robert E. Rubin as Secretary of the Treasury under Bill Clinton and with Barack Obama. In order to establish this Masonic shadow government beyond US borders, the Bilderberg Group, the Trilateral Commission, and the European Council on Foreign Relations were founded by initiative of the CFR.
Fifth, U.S. President Joe Biden and U.S. presidential candidate Kamala Harris.
Joe Biden has been the 46th president of the USA since 2021. Previously, he was vice president from 2009 to 2017 under the presidency of Barack Obama. Like the US presidents before him, Joe Biden is also a high-degree Freemason, and together with Barack Obama, Warren Buffett, and Bill and Hillary Clinton, a member of the Mott Lodge, a lodge founded by CFR strategist Zbigniew Brzezinski. The word Mott is Egyptian and stands for world order, among other things. The term is embodied by an Egyptian goddess who appears as the Eye of Ra, or the all-seeing eye. Biden is also very close to the CFR, here at an appearance at the CFR in 2018. Of the 30 members of the Biden cabinet, 17 belong to the CFR or have close family ties to the CFR. Well-known CFR strategists also repeatedly appear alongside Joe Biden. These include Henry Kissinger, who died in 2023, current CFR chairman David M. Rubenstein, and Alexander Soros, son and successor of CFR strategist George Soros. The latter had visited the White House at least 17 times since Biden took office. George Soros was the best-known Biden supporter in his 2024 election campaign, financing it with $60 million. Once Joe Biden withdrew his candidacy for the 2024 U.S. presidential election on July 21, 2024, Kamala Harris was nominated as the new candidate of the Democratic Party. She was previously vice president under Joe Biden. Kamala Harris also has very close family ties to the CFR. Her sister Maya Harris is a member of the CFR. She is one of Kamala Harris' closest advisors and led her election campaign as presidential candidate in 2019 and as vice presidential candidate in 2020. Immediately after Biden's resignation, it became known that CFR strategist George Soros and his son Alexander are financially supporting Kamala Harris in her candidacy. There had already been several meetings between Alexander Soros and Kamala Harris.
Donald Trump, savior or part of the deep state?
Based on the connections and facts presented so far, it is clear that a deep state does exist in the USA and who is part of it. Secret societies have been steering political events in the USA since the founding of the state in 1776. The CFR has acted as a political and strategic arm of these secret societies since 1921. Trump ran for president in 2016 with the aim of eradicating this deep state.
Here's my plan to dismantle the deep state.
Is Trump unlike Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and the U.S. presidents before him, the long-awaited liberator against the deep state?
Donald Trump was surprisingly brought into power as the 45th president of the USA in 2017. He was already a famous personality before this in the US. He gained fame as the chairman of the Trump empire, as an eccentric billionaire and the owner of the Trump Tower in New York. But who is Donald Trump? Is he a fighter for justice and a liberator of the US population from these secret societies? Or is he himself under the influence of the masterminds of the deep state and connected to them?
First, Trump's connections to high-degree Freemasons and CFR strategist Henry Kissinger.
Kissinger met Trump on May 10, 2017. A follow-up meeting of Kissinger and Trump took place at the White House in October 2017. At this meeting, Trump explained that he has long been friends with Kissinger.
Henry Kissinger has been a friend of mine. I've liked him, I've respected him, but we've been friends for a long time, long before my emergence in the world of politics. We got to know each other very well.
Besides Kissinger, other CFR strategists have appeared on Trump's side, as you can see here, at a meeting with high-degree Freemason and current chairman of the CFR, David M. Rubenstein, in his private residence in Florida, or with the CFR strategist and high-grade Freemason, Larry Fink. Among Trump's biggest donors is CFR member and Blackstone head Stephen Schwarzman. Stephen is also a member of the secret society Skull and Bones. While Trump maintains intense connections with high-degree Freemasons, he presents himself in the public as a devout Christian, like many US presidents before him. Church leaders in the USA, as well as millions of evangelical Christians who form a decisive voting bloc, support Trump ardently and have placed their hopes in him.
Trump enjoyed a Jesuit education at Fordham University in New York. His children, Eric, Ivanka, and Tiffany, studied at the Jesuit-run Georgetown University in Washington, D.C. The Jesuits are the largest religious order within the Catholic Church. According to an entry in the International Encyclopedia of Freemasonry, the establishment of the Masonic secret societies and the Masonic degrees in the 17th century was largely influenced by the Jesuits.
Since his childhood, Donald Trump has regularly visited the Marble Collegiate Church. He has been attending its Sunday services for the past 50 years. Norman Vincent Peale was the pastor in this church up until his death in 1993. What many do not know is that Peale was a 33rd degree Freemason. Trump has repeatedly praised Peale and has named him as a formative influence in his life. In 1977, Trump married his first wife Ivana in a ceremony that Peale officiated. Here's a picture of the Trumps from 1988 attending Norman Vincent Peale's 90th birthday party.
Second, Trump's son-in-law and chief advisor, Jared Kushner.
Jared Kushner is an American real estate mogul and became the son-in-law of Donald Trump in 2009 when he married Ivanka Trump. Kushner serves as chief advisor and a gray eminence on the US President Trump. Henry Kissinger named Kushner Trump's most trusted person. Jared Kushner is part of the Bilderberg Group, which was established by the two high-grade Freemasons Henry Kissinger and David Rockefeller. He participated in the 2019 Bilderberg meeting. Trump has still more support from the governing body of the Bilderberg Group. The investor and high-degree Freemason Peter Thiel is part of the group's leadership committee. In 2016, Thiel financed Trump's campaign with over $1 million. He was part of Trump's transitional team, which prepared his presidency. Since then, he has been an advisor to Trump. Thiel has also supported Trump's current vice presidential candidate, James David, J.D. Vance, financially. Vance has called Thiel his mentor. The U.S. investigative journalist Whitney Webb spoke in a recently published interview about Vance's close relationship to the PayPal founder, Peter Thiel.
J.D. Vance really owes both his political career and his previous venture capital career to Peter Thiel. For example, Peter Thiel first met J.D. Vance when J.D. Vance was in law school and subsequently offered him his first job in venture capital at a Thiel-created venture capital firm called Mithril Capital, and subsequently started his own venture capital firm, Nardia Capital, with heavy backing again from Peter Thiel. And in addition, when Vance decided to run for office or for Senate, he was heavily funded by Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel donated $15 million to his campaign, which I believe at the time, and maybe still is, the largest donation, a single donation ever made to a Senate candidate. But aside from PayPal, the clear indicator of intelligence ties with Peter Thiel comes in the form of Palantir, which he incorporated in 2003, and they directly enable, the warrantless spying on all Americans and use that to profile you on behalf of the national security state. And what's unfortunate, too, is that, we know how Peter Thiel's influence during Trump's first campaign translated into Palantir getting what the New York Times called a bonanza of contracts with the military, the U.S. military, and also with, even more so with U.S. intelligence.
Third, Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, competitive rivals, or maybe not?
In 2016, they were each other's biggest rivals. Hillary Clinton ran for the Democrats, Trump for the Republicans. Publicly, they both ran dirty campaigns against each other in the presidential race.
We cannot take Hillary Clinton anymore. We've had enough of Clinton.
We can't have a loose cannon in the Oval Office.
Upon closer inspection, however, Donald Trump has had a close relationship with both high-degree Freemasons, Bill and Hillary Clinton, over many years. Particularly revealing is an article from the Austrian newspaper Kurier, which was published during the 2016 election cycle titled, "Ivanka Trump and Chelsea Clinton, Two Friends from Manhattan." I quote, "Chelsea and Ivanka are dear friends, even while their parents attack each other. Indeed, Chelsea Clinton and Ivanka Trump have built a close bond over many years that has developed not least thanks to their parents. I continue. We were friends before the election cycle for a long time, stated Chelsea Clinton quite clearly, and we will still remain friends long after these elections. End quote. Also, their parents are well connected to each other throughout a long friendship. President Bill Clinton has been on very friendly terms with Donald Trump for many years. In 2005, Hillary Clinton sat in the first row in the wedding ceremony of Donald and Melania Trump. Trump donated to the Clinton Foundation as well as to Hillary Clinton's Senate campaign. It has been made known that in May of 2015, directly before his candidacy for the presidency, Donald Trump held a confidential meeting with Bill Clinton, while his wife Hillary had just declared herself candidate for the presidency 1 month before. A Clinton employee subsequently said Clinton had supported Trump's efforts for a bigger role in the Republican Party. During the following election campaign, Donald Trump promised to introduce investigations against Clinton if he would be chosen to be president. And he would bring her to jail due to her many crimes. Lock her up was turned into a slogan by the Trump election campaign.
That Donald Trump warned of an instant and ongoing investigation just as soon as this presidential term started.
Hillary is likely to be under investigation for many years, probably concluding in a criminal trial. Hillary Clinton will be under investigation for a long, long time for her many crimes against our nation, our people, our democracy.
And this turned out to be a lie after the election campaign. Any and all investigations against Clinton were ended by Trump. Quote, "The designated US President Donald Trump does not want to pursue any further investigations against the defeated Democratic candidate Hillary Clinton. Trump doesn't want further investigations against Clinton, whether into her private servers, for emails during her time serving as Secretary of State, or questioning her practices within the Clinton Foundation." Was the rivalry between Trump and Clinton just staged? Just like the presidential election campaign between George W. Bush and John Kerry in 2004? The duel between Republicans and Democrats turned out for Bush. It became known, however, that both of those supposed rivals were members of the same secret society. Kerry was sworn into the Skull and Bones Club in 1966, and Bush just 2 years later.
Fourth, Donald Trump with Bill and Hillary Clinton in Jeffrey Epstein's network.
Something else connects Donald Trump with Bill and Hillary Clinton: their close connections to Jeffrey Epstein.
The U.S. financier and sex offender Jeffrey Epstein ran a sex trafficking ring with minors over a period of around 20 years.
Victims report sex trafficking and sexual assaults that took place as early as 1996. A total of at least 100 victims are estimated. However, the number of unreported cases is certainly many times higher.
The Epstein case attracted worldwide attention. In 2019, Jeffrey Epstein was imprisoned and shortly after this, reportedly found dead in his cell. Epstein was a member of the CFR. His friends included Donald Trump and Bill Clinton. Trump with his future wife Melania, Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. Trump with sex offender Epstein at a party in Palm Beach in Florida. In an interview with the New York Magazine in 2002, Trump said, quote, "I've known Jeff for 15 years. Terrific guy. He's a lot of fun to be with." End quote. During the proceedings against Epstein's accomplice and partner, Ghislaine Maxwell, in 2021, it was brought to light that Trump had flown in Epstein's jet during the 90s on many occasions. Epstein used his airplane, amongst other things, for flying underage women and exclusive guests to his private island. Because of this airplane is nicknamed the Lolita Express in the media.
And we know from previously released flight logs that Bill Clinton and Donald Trump and Britain's Prince Andrew were frequently among the passengers on board. Clinton, in fact, is listed as a passenger 26 times. Donald Trump is listed as a passenger at least 7 times.
On 16th of April 2019, Maria Farmer, one of Epstein's victims, delivered a sworn statement to the New York federal court in which she declared that she and her sister Annie were sexually abused by Epstein and Maxwell in many locations. Maria Farmer stated in a later interview that she saw Donald Trump, as well as Bill and Hillary Clinton, coming and going with Epstein.
I named everybody. I named Donald Trump. I named everyone who I thought was a co-conspirator at the time. Donald Trump, absolutely the Clintons. These are people that I saw coming and going, that I knew were part of it.
In contrast, Trump presents himself in public as a savior against the sexual exploitation of children. In 2016, as Trump came to power as president, he promised that his administration was committed to leveraging every resource of the federal government to end the scourge of human trafficking. In April of 2018, Trump signed, effective immediately, a law against sexual trafficking and against the exploitation of children.
My administration is putting unprecedented pressure on traffickers at home and abroad, and we are freeing innocent victims at every single turn. I want to make it clear today that my administration will focus on ending the absolutely horrific practice of human trafficking. We're challenging foreign regimes that facilitate this horrible evil of sex trafficking.
How trustworthy can someone be in the fight against sexual trafficking when he has apparently been part of this himself? With respect to the question if Trump would reveal Jeffrey Epstein's records, he stated the following in June 2024 in a Fox News interview.
If you were president, would you declassify, you can answer yes or no to these, would you declassify the 9/11 files?
Yeah.
Would you declassify JFK files?
Yeah. I did a lot of it.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you don't know it. You don't want to affect people's lives.
Fifth, Elon Musk provides Donald Trump a large platform.
Elon Musk reveals himself to be one of Trump's biggest supporters. With estimated assets of $243 billion, the Tesla boss ranks as the richest man in the world. Musk announced in July of 2024 his support of Trump's presidential candidacy. "I fully endorse President Trump," wrote the tech billionaire on platform X, which he has taken over since 2022. Multiple media outlets reported that Musk has stated his intention of supporting Trump's election campaign to a tune of $45 million per month. At the beginning of September, it became known that Trump and Musk are planning to work closely, hand in hand, in the future. If Trump becomes US president, he plans to set up a commission for government efficiency. The head of this board would be led by Tesla CEO Elon Musk.
Elon Musk says that he plans to turn X, Twitter, into half of the financial system, and it's going to be a biometric digital ID at some point, and then have this all linked to your finances, your financial wallet.
Elon Musk's company implants a brain chip in a human being.
Musk's intention veers heavily into this direction as he plans to insert a chip into people's brains with which it could network with a computer. In other words, the thoughts of chipped persons could be monitored. A live conversation between Trump and Musk posted online on Musk's platform X found a great audience. In this conversation, broadcast on August the 12th, Musk heavily advertised on behalf of Trump. Musk said to Trump, quote, "I believe we're standing on a turning point with regards to the destiny of civilization, and I believe we need to choose the right way. And I think you are the right way." End quote.
I think we're at a fork in the road of destiny of civilization, and I think we need to take the right path, and I think you're the right path. So I think that's what it comes down to.
Thank you very much, Elon.
In this live conversation with Trump, many in the audience noticed a particular photo of Elon Musk that he has used on the platform X as his avatar. It shows Musk in a Baphomet costume. Musk has published more such photos on X. Baphomet is displayed on the front side. This is the representation of the devil's goat that is worshipped within satanic circles as Lucifer. Printed on Musk's back is the unmistakable depiction of the upside-down cross, better known as a Luciferian cross. This costume seems to hold great meaning to Musk, as he uses it as his official profile photo on X. This satanic avatar is obviously not chosen by chance. The Texas governor, Greg Abbott, published a photo with Musk after a meeting. it can be clearly seen that Musk and Abbott display the Lucifer symbol with their hands. This hand signal, better known as the devil's horns, symbolizes Lucifer reigns, or all power and glory to Lucifer. Despite this fact checkers have declared that Musk's hand symbol represented the Texas Longhorns. The same explanation was given by official bodies to silence warning voices when US presidents George Bush and Barack Obama kept showing this symbol repeatedly in front of the camera. However, it became known that Bush and Obama are part of the Luciferian high-degree Freemasonry. Besides Elon Musk, Barack Obama, and George Bush, founder and high priest of the Church of Satan, Anton LaVey, showed this satanic symbol during many appearances. Also Prince Harry at an official meeting with First Lady Melania Trump, and French President Emmanuel Macron at an official visit by Donald Trump.
Sixth, Trump, the chosen peacemaker?
Trump presents himself on the world stage as an international peacemaker. One of his central election promises is to end war between Russia and the Ukraine in just a few hours.
I will prevent, and very easily, World War III, very easily. I will have the disastrous war between Russia and Ukraine settled. And it will take me no longer than one day.
But what does reality look like? The Swiss historian Dr. Daniele Ganser commented,
Trump approved the empire's defense budget for the next year in August 2018, and its amounts to $716 billion. That gives the Pentagon a budget of $2 billion a day.
The war record under Trump's term of office as 45th President of the United States looked like this. In the first 2 years of his presidency alone, the USA fired around 79,000 bombs and missiles. That is more bombing in just 2 years than George W. Bush in his entire 8-year tenure. According to the declassified figures of the Bureau of Investigative Journalism, there were more than 12,000 drone attacks in the 4 years under Trump. That is 7 times the amount of Obama's 8 years term of office. In terms of war, Trump acted in the same manner as the earlier US presidents and as the puppeteers of the deep state in the USA who have done this for centuries. When asked the question how he wants to end the war between Russia and Ukraine, Trump gave a clear answer in a CNN interview.
I want Europe to put up more money because they're in for 20 billion, we're in for 170, and they should be, and they should equalize.
In other words, that facilitates an extra money flow of billions for the arms industry. An additional weapons upgrade would certainly cause an additional escalation in the Russia-Ukraine war. Trump's criticism of NATO already during his first term of office aimed to release additional money in the billions for the war industry. The declared goal by Trump was to move the NATO member states to massively increase arms spending to 4% of their gross domestic product.
President Donald Trump is calling on NATO members to double their spending targets on defense. According to White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders, Trump suggested at the NATO summit Wednesday that countries increase defense spending goals from 2% of their gross domestic product to 4%.
We must also ensure that NATO members meet their financial obligations and pay what they owe.
Trump needs to explain. Decisive key persons and Trump's most important advisors are part of Luciferian high-degree Freemasonry or their strategically established CFR. His close friendship with Henry Kissinger and his entanglements with Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, Jeffrey Epstein, as well as Bill and Hillary Clinton raise big questions. With a closer look, numerous promises and announcements by Trump turn out to be Masonic figures of speech. That means that in practical action, the exact opposite is being implemented of what he has said in public. While Trump officially pretends to effectively go against sex and child trafficking, he himself is part of the Epstein network. In the same manner, Trump presents himself as an international peacemaker. Particularly during the COVID period, it became obvious that also Trump followed the agenda of the deep state. Besides the rigorous restrictive measures, Trump himself promoted the COVID-19 mRNA jabs, while important expert voices of immunologists, physicians, and the free media warned of the dangers of the jab. Trump commented in an interview with Fox News as follows.
It works incredibly well, 95%, maybe even more than that. It works incredibly well. And it's really saving our country, and it's saving, frankly, the world.
Being asked whether Trump recommends the mRNA vaccine for the US American population, he pumped the advertising drum.
I would recommend it, and I would recommend it to a lot of people that don't want to get it, and a lot of those people voted for me, frankly, but it's a great vaccine, it's a safe vaccine, and it's something that works.
It doesn't matter to the puppeteers of the deep state whether the US president or presidential candidates are Democrats or Republicans. They're happy when the different parties and their supporters fight each other in public, and they themselves are not in the focus of the public attention. At the 2024 Anti-Censorship Conference, the British investigative journalist and author David Icke put it aptly in a nutshell.
What we're looking at in terms of politics, left and right, it's theatre, it's vaudeville, right? And that's to keep us believing in the political system and the fact that because we have a vote every 4 or 5 years, somehow we're in control of who runs the government. But the thing is that you have the left and the right and in this puppet show, and then you go one step back in the shadows, and the same hands are controlling both. So we're fighting each other while not looking up and seeing the same hand is controlling the strings of all these different factions.
It becomes obvious that even for Trump, the party color doesn't really matter. In August of 2001, Trump registered as a Democrat. In the years 2004 and 2008, he already indicated that he would run for the Democratic Party in the US presidential elections against George W. Bush. Finally, he registered again as a Republican this time in 2009. Until 2012, he distributed his party donations in equal portions to both major parties. Among others, for example, a donation to his current rival, Kamala Harris, in the year of 2012. It depends on each one of us to see through this game of right and left and to overcome the artificially created division. It is decisive to focus on the puppeteers in the background. It should be noted that the same masterminds are not just at work in the United States, but act in almost every country around the world. Watch the investigative broadcasts on KLA TV #Octopus-EN about this topic. For now, taking up personal responsibility and actively sharing these facts are definitely among the most promising possible solutions when it comes to freeing the US and every other nation worldwide from the stranglehold of this deep state. On the one hand, it is very important to not set one's hope on supposed saviors, and certainly not when they are connected to the deep state masterminds. On the other hand, the order of the day is to become part of a network of upright and just, truth-seeking people originating from the people. In order to become part of the international KLA TV network and to be able to stay connected in times of increasing internet censorship, please network with our internet-independent KLA TV network under this link. Please spread and share this important content as widely as possible. Thank you.
I've tried to get out of this cage surrounding me. How did I get in? How do I get out? These hands want to help the hate-filled world, but something hits me hard and stops what I wanted to start. Many tried to help me with lots of advice, but it was only rain. Just one thing that saved the little spark of truth, it led me out of hell. Oh, I never give up, 'cause light break through the night. Doesn't matter how dark it is, the smallest light is stronger than the deepest dark. Light break through the night. deception every day. It is for your best, they say with a smile. We all do whatever they're asking for, but they never get enough, they never let up, and endless greed, it will